Hi, today we have Emer McCormack in our Business Spotlight series, and we're going to talk to Emer a bit about her business and some of the challenges she's met over the last couple of years. So over to you, Emer. What do you do, and for how long have you been doing it?
My name is Emer McCormack. I own and run a marketing agency called Be Different Marketing that specializes in digital transformation and digital marketing services across the board. And I've had the pleasure to do this for almost 10 years, a whole near decade of my life attached to Be Different. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as that. Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, and so who is your best customer?
Yeah, I suppose in the life cycle of the business, the customer has changed from day one to where we are now, almost 10 years later. At the beginning, when I suppose I was young and naive, I thought that I could be all things to all people. And then you quickly realize that you'll end up being a busy fool if you adopt that strategy long term.
Okay.
So the customer has changed into more medium to large style customer, predominantly B2B, but we also do a lot of activations with B2C on the experiential marketing side of things.
Okay.
But in terms of the day-to-day, in terms of digital marketing, B2B would form a very large part of our business.
Okay, and just for me and maybe some of the listeners, experiential. What is that, or what does it what does that entail?
Yeah, so it's a really convoluted word for what it actually is. Essentially, it's the brand in hand activations that you would do with the customer to try and get them to recall your brand. So, for example, a number of years ago, we had a hot air balloon in Merrion Square, and people came along and they experienced a hot air balloon ride, and then for the particular brand. And on top of that, then there was other touch points as well, such as product sampling and another experiential campaign as well to go along with that in a form of a bus.
Okay, so you actually got people to go into the balloon for a ride. Of course, they're going to remember
Yes.
the. Yes, I can see it here. Was it Raffaello? Is it?
Yeah, for Raffaello, yeah,
Raffaello,
absolutely,
is it?
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's all kind of brand in hand. It's about kind of getting your customer to engage with your brand in a different way other than just seeing advertisements for the brand. It's more submersive and immersive, I suppose, really more than anything.
Fantastic. Okay, sounds great. And were there any business changes you had to consider? The COVID-19 made a necessity.
Something prior to COVID, I had thought anyway about introducing a hybrid model here in the office of 3 days or 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. It is something that I, was kind of contemplating for a little bit. And I guess COVID-19, no more than every other business across the world now, we're forced to do so. So yeah, I guess the biggest kind of challenge would be is to make sure at that given time that the systems are in place and then the transition to home life wouldn't interfere with the business on the day to day. So I guess as a world and as a nation here in Ireland, it was coming down the tracks, but probably about maybe 10 years away, I would have thought. So we were quickly catapulted into that, and I think it's a good thing. I really do think it's a good thing.
Great. And and of all the actions you've taken because of the pandemic, what are some that will remain part of your business? I presume it's the hybrid model as well.
Yeah, definitely the hybrid, and I would love to move at some stage to a 4-day working week. Yeah, I listened to a great interview on that recently. I think it was on RTE, and there was some company recruitment agency actually in Galway they were the first company that have done it, and they're having a great success with it in terms of recruitment in it and retention of staff, and also the work-life balance. Like, whilst we all work really hard in our businesses, the downtime is really important because the two of them marry together, and then as a direct result of that, you get a happy life, work-life balance, basically.
Yeah, well, of course, attracting talented people to your business is a huge thing at the moment now. Obviously, I see it across all our clients, and yeah, it's interesting. I've seen some stuff on that. I don't have any clients who are actually doing it, but be interesting to see how that works out if you do adopt it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say is your biggest learning since you've been a business owner?
Kind of goes back really to my original point with don't be a busy fool.
Okay.
Because I think, I think that the learning was a hard one to some respects, that you need to kind of focus down your business into a key area or a couple of areas. So I definitely think that was a key learning. And then on the day-to-day, staff management also has been a key learning. I'm one that holds a master's in HR, that could never work a day in HR in my life because I couldn't cope with people coming into the office and moaning about things. So that's the reason why I chose to set up a marketing company instead. But I think you do learn hard and fast about that. And also the accounting side of things. I think one of the biggest learnings is that, like, again, never mind the business in terms of what you do from the customer perspective, but actually internally as well, you cannot be good at everything, and you need to hire accordingly, hire a really good accountant, hire a really good bookkeeper, and people that know better than you in certain areas. So I think that was one of the major key learnings for me very quickly earlier on, that I noted and adapted straight away.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I mean, you kind of develop your strengths and delegate away your weaknesses, I suppose, is what we would say.
Absolutely. And look, you'd be run ragged if you were trying to be everything, and you never would do everything right. It'll never be right.
Exactly. I mean, I'm an accountant by trade, but I've subbed that out to other people, to do other accountants. I'm not an accountant anymore, sort of thing. But very good, excellent. And have you any offers to include in the newsletter?
Well, I suppose we don't have any offers per se. The offering is that you're working with a very good agency in Dublin, with a national and international reach, and our prices are quite competitive. So, and you get that value customer care that you may not get in bigger agencies because of our smaller team.
Great. Okay. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I tend to, rather than look at just one side as our accountant buds might look at just cost, I look at return on investment. I might get an agency that'll only charge me €500 but get nothing out of it, and another one will charge 5,000 and I get loads out of it. So I mean, I know which one I want to go for myself.
Yeah,
so,
and the customer won't be too long telling you about your ROI as well. So I actually recorded a video on that earlier on myself. So it's a key thing for customers.
Yeah, it's great. It's a main thing I kind of look for with a marketing company, is that it's marketing and sales.
Yeah, it is, and that's exactly it. And you can't have one without the other. The two of them are very much interlinked.
Exactly right. Very good. And so, what do you find most inspiring? What's most inspiring to you today?
I think what's most inspiring to me is how you can identify areas which might try and bring you down. And I'll explain that. If you are constantly listening to the news, it's constantly negative. It's constantly about COVID, or it's about climate change, or it's about Boris Johnson or whatever. And these are things you can't control. None of them are within your control. And it's so easy to get bogged down with those. Where you can make a change in your life is by making a decision and deciding what you want to consume, in terms of what you listen to, in terms of what you watch, in terms of what you do in the morning when you get up, to what you do until you go to bed in the evening. So what's inspiring for me is I've completely re-engineered my day. I get up super early in the morning, I head to the gym, I listen to my audiobooks, and my audiobooks are predominantly motivational business books. It's about self-improvement. It's about how I can do things better and smarter and faster. And I'm constantly educating myself. So I think I find that personally motivating, both in my personal life and in my business life. So yeah, that would be a key driver for me.
I couldn't agree more. And I know when I came into this 18 years ago, I thought that was all a bit soft and a bit fluffy. And I've changed 180 degrees. It's front and center of all of my coaching now to get that mindset right. So, fantastic that you're doing that. Well, listen, great talking to you today, Emer, and delighted to learn more about Be Different, which is a great name, I think.
Thank you.
So that's Emer McCormack, and thanks very much.